incredibly proud of our team. I thought our guys played really, really hard. What I'm most proud of is just the stretch that we've had, the 5-game stretch. We've lost just one after another, and some of them close, some really tough battles, and others against some incredibly talented teams, and some against teams that, frankly, I felt like we should have had a better chance to win. And it's not easy to keep your attitude and effort headed in a positive direction when you're going through that. But I can't say enough for the resilience of our guys, the way that they've practiced and continued to come back each Sunday and rededicate themselves, and the way they practiced this week, the way they prepared for this week. And it's more than just want to. Their team wanted it as well. Both teams want to win the game. I don't know that a competitor goes into the game not wanting to win, but the fierceness and intensity of these battles is, I mean, it's like no other games. And just to be able to withstand that for all 60 minutes and come out on top. And it's amazing that the halftime score remained the score. Is just that second half, just two teams just slugging it out blow for blow. And I'm proud of our team for finding a way to come out on top. I thought we had some guys individually that really stood out, that really played outstanding football games and made some big plays. But obviously, in the first half, being able to run the football like we did, just our defense stopping the run and the turnovers. Turnovers were the story of the football game for sure. So just really proud of our team, really excited about winning this football game. We needed one desperately, needed a victory. And so there's not a team on the schedule, them and the last one, that we want to win more than the others. We want to win these Commander Chiefs games more than any other games. And I don't mind saying that. I think there's a lot of people that be like, well, every game's important. They sure are. Every game's important. And if you saw the way people agonized the last 5 weeks over losing, I mean, they're all important. We want to win every one of them. But there's nothing like these academy games and the pride of playing for that trophy. So I'm happy that our guys have a chance to play for it in December, and it's a long way down the road. And we'll fry that fish when we get a chance. So we got other games to play and improvements we got to make. Appreciate everybody being here.
Go ahead, Ken.
Coach, congratulations. Ken Kratzer, Camden Media. Price of the LA today getting off to a good start, 62-yard run, and then able to score on the third possession, 5-yard run, 174 yards on the day. He was healthy and he really played at a high level.
Ken, let me first say how much I appreciate you being here. All you've been through in the last couple of weeks, and to make the trip out here, and just the professionalism, to the way you treat our players and me and our coaches and cover our program. And so I really, it means a lot that you're here, and you're a true professional. I'm really proud of Bryce. He played his butt off. He's such a rugged, tough runner. He's not flashy, doesn't get in the open field, and is going to make guys miss out there in the open field. He runs through tackles and squares his shoulders to the line of scrimmage and gets positive yards for us, and popped out of there on that long run on the first drive, which was big. I mean, to take a lead like that in the opening drive, that was huge. And then turn around and get a turnover and get up 2 scores. That really that set the tone for the entire football game. But he just put the team on his back, and we asked a lot of him. I don't know how many times he carried the ball. Did you say how many times he carried it? 36 times. Last time I remember a quarterback running it 36 times, I think it was Jabo Shaw against William and Mary in the playoffs in 2010. I think he carried it 36 times. That's a lot of times to carry a football. We won that game too. But I mean, just what a great performance. And he's a great kid. I'm happy for him.
Coach, just on defense, I thought they got up to a great start, being able to stop the 4th and 1 on the first drive, the Air Force 35, and just being able to generate these turnovers. Bo Nicholas called a couple of interceptions, and when Hammond's had a sack. The overall defense is so aggressive today. What did you say?
I thought the defense played great. Nate Woody's an outstanding coach. Nate does a tremendous job defending option offenses. I know because I've faced him on the opposite sideline more than a couple of times, and he always did a good job defending us. And you know, I respect just the career he's had and the job he's done. He's just continued to do it his way. And there's a lot of big name guys out there that get a lot of publicity about the way their teams play defense. And he's just a football coach. But man, does he do a good job of preparing our guys. And we haven't played perfect all year, but our guys, they know how to line up. They play with good fundamentals for the most part. Sometimes we miss tackles. Sometimes we get beat over the top. But he teaches them to play good football. And it's a very much of a bend, don't break mentality, which nobody likes to hear. They don't want to hear about how much pressure you're going to bring, all that stuff. But he has the perfect philosophy on defense for our team, for the kinds of players we have, and the kind of defense we can play. So he's a great fit. He did a tremendous job of preparing those guys, and they came up with some plays. The guys on the field had to make the plays. Coach Woody, he didn't try out there and play any snaps today, but he had those guys ready. They did a good job.
To take it over here against a rival when they have so much at stake. Mayor first comes in 8-0. You mentioned these games mean more. Does that even add a little more icing to it?
It doesn't matter. When we play those games, it doesn't matter. The records don't matter. Theirs or ours. I mean, it truly doesn't matter. We want to win these games so desperately, and I know they do too. That's what makes them such good football games. Here we are, first weekend in November, and there's two teams playing for a championship. Nobody else in college football gets to enjoy that. It's really unique, and it's a source of pride. There's three student bodies that each of these teams represent, and we play for those student bodies. We play for the long gray line of graduates who play for the over 1 million men and women who serve in the United States Army. And we want our performance when we play those other branches of service, those other academies, to be a representation of the men and women that wear the uniform. And so I'm always proud when we're able to win that game to represent those men and women that serve.
Specifically with the Carson's 62-yard right side, Carson's 60-yard run to start the game, was that the early sign that you could see from your team that they were up for this challenge today?
It was a great run, but I think about 2 minutes had run off the clock, so there was a whole lot of time left. And that's a good football team on the other side of the field for us. So that wasn't going to win the game. It was a great boost, obviously, to get up 7-0, but I frankly didn't think we were going to win the game by scoring one touchdown. I thought we were going to have to score a lot more points. And fortunately, our defense played a great game, and that did it. But it was a great confidence boost for our football team. We've struggled. We've struggled to move the ball on a consistent basis. We've had times where we moved it really well, and times where we haven't. So that was great to have that first one.
You were obviously very surprised when you heard how many carries he had today. What about him, personality-wise, makes you guys as coaching staff so confident, even though he's been banged up this season, that you can trust him to carry the ball as much as today?
He's just a tough kid. You could hit him with a sledgehammer 36 times, and he'll get back up and he'll go again. He just take another swing. That's just who he is. And I think that's who our team is. I think that's who the United States Army is. They're tough people. I don't know how many million people in this country. There's 1 million people in the United States Army. That's a small percentage. 330 million people. I don't know if that's what we got. I promise you, the other 300 and however million aren't envious of those jobs. They don't want those jobs. They could volunteer and take that job, but they don't want that job. They want somebody else to do that job. It's the tough people that put on the uniform, our men and women that serve, that are willing to put on that uniform and go into harm's way and do the job that needs to be done so that everybody else can enjoy the freedoms that we have. And he's a great representation of that. And so when he becomes an officer in the military and he's leading a unit and they're going into harm's way, you can be sure they're going to be a bunch of tough asses too, because that's who he is. And I think our whole locker room is full of a bunch of guys like that, and they can't wait to get out there and serve and defend the freedoms of this nation.
Anything else in the room before we go to Zoom? We're going to kick it over to Zoom for a couple. Charles, goblackknights.com. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, coach, or good evening, coach, and congratulations on the win. It appears that every possible break that you could get your way or go your way in the first half actually did. So under your breath, were you saying it's about time?
It is about time. Charles, you watched us all year. We've had a lot of them go the other way. So we needed to have some go our way. But our guys made some plays. They did. They made some plays and created some plays. But we got some breaks. We had some breaks go against us too. I mean, we had some holding penalties. We had some pass interference calls. We had a chop block. Those weren't breaks in our favor. We got ourselves in some long yardage situations. So that we didn't get all the breaks, but we made a lot of them too. And we had some things go our way.
Great. And my follow-up question is, the ground game today was effective, especially in the first half, led by Bryson, who I think had 131 yards in the first half, versus maybe the other core of running backs, if you will. Is this something that you saw in the Air Force defense, hence by design, that Bryson carried the ball more so than maybe the running backs?
That's a really good defense that we faced. Just look at the stats and where they rank statistically on a national level, not just in their league. I mean, they're a very good defense. And they typically against us, they got a lot of hats in there trying to get to the ball carrier. And so we, I guess, just felt like add an extra blocker. Those guys out of the backfield, let Bryson carry it. It's just one more hat to account for the guys that they have. So fortunately, it worked out a good bit of the time. We were able to block them up and move them and create some seams. We didn't all the time. In the second half, that was tough slugging. We were out there punting the ball a whole bunch more than I wanted to, and fortunately, our defense held. But Bryson's a good tough runner, and I think we got some other guys that carry the ball and do a great job. But it's hard for him to hand it off and block for them. It's easy for him to let them lead up in there and block for the quarterback, and so that kind of was part of our game plan.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats again.
Thanks, Charles.
Ken McMillan.
Hey, Jeff. Congratulations on the win. Jeff, how significant is this win? I know you're talking about this season, but facing, having a 5-game losing streak, playing an unbeaten Air Force team, and going 0-52 against ranked foes, and just the nature of the way you played. How significant was this game?
0-52? I don't know if I've played that many ranked foes here. I can't talk for the other coaches before me, but it's a big win. But as I said earlier, didn't have anything to do with their record, didn't have anything to do with their ranking. It has nothing to do with that. It is completely about the opportunity to play for a championship and to represent West Point, the Corps Cadets, the Long Gray Line, the United States Army, and the black flag that we carry out in front of us. And it's all pride. And we want to win that game. It doesn't matter what the records are. And these games have always been tough, hard-fought battles. I mean, they've been one-score games every game for the last, since 2017. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, they're all one-score games. So, it didn't matter then what the records were. it's just the pride of playing this game, and our guys wanting to beat Air Force, just as our guys at the end of the year will want to beat Navy. It's the two biggest games of the year. No apologies for saying that.
Jeff, how did you contain Larrier?
Our guys did a good job of getting off blocks. I thought they did that today as well as they've done that all year long. Our guys were able to shed some blocks and get to him. He's a good runner. He's a good thrower. He's a good quarterback. He's a good player. And he hit some plays. He did a really good job of hitting some throws for them. But we were able to keep him from getting any big long runs. And that was a good job by our guys. Just sometimes they were shedding the blocks late down the field, but they were just always able to get there. I saw Jimmy Charlo make a kind of a shoestring tackle there toward the end of the game. He wasn't able to get out there where he can use his speed. And he's got great speed, and we're just able to keep him from being able to do that.
Jeff, can you recall the last time you played this good for 60 minutes?
Well, I mean, we played pretty good against UTSA for 60 minutes. And I don't know that we played great on offense in the second half. Our defense, I thought, played a great football game for 60 minutes. I thought they played a great football game. And give Air Force credit in the second half. They bowed up and played really good defense in the second half, forced us to punt the ball a bunch. I don't know that we punted it in the first half. I don't remember that we did. But we punted it plenty in the second half. So, but I thought our guys played really hard, played really well. And they had a determination about them today. And I saw that this week, and give our seniors credit, our assistant coaches credit. They're the ones that our coaches developed the game plan. Our players had to practice and prepare and do it. And just the meetings and walkthroughs and practices, and our scout team that's back at home, the job that they did to prepare our team. It's just a great team effort. And so like I said, the credit goes to our players, especially, but also our assistant coaches.
Thanks, Jeff.
Sal, go ahead.
Congratulations, Coach. Phenomenal effort by the defense. Leo Lowen stood out. Can you talk a little bit about his play today and what he meant to the defense?
Leo did play a great football game. That kid is just what a career he's had, to move from safety to linebacker, to have some of the games he's had in his career, and then to have some games where he didn't perform as well. And there's been some guys rotating in and out this year, some other linebackers. Been some games where Leo's missed some tackles, and just trying to get the right couple of guys in there in the right situations. And today I thought he just played a great football game. There were a couple of times where we'd have liked to have had him play over the top of a couple of blocks and get better position, but man, he kept showing up at the ball. And so I'm really happy for him. And he's just an incredible kid, really intelligent, really smart football player, very professional, a good leader, and very even keel in terms of his focus and intensity. He never allows the moment to be too big for him. He never allows the disappointments to take him down too far. And so he's just he does a great job balancing that defensive unit.
As the time was ticking away and you're walking on the field, I see that you hug Connor Finucane on the way. And can you just talk about that moment and what that meant? Because I know the offensive line played their tails off today, and I know Connor's one of the leaders there.
They did. He's the team captain on offense, and we ran behind he and Lucas Scott a lot today, and those guys played really tough. To be able to run the football against their defense, they got a good defense, and particularly good against the run. To be able to run the ball like we did, the offensive line was, they're the difference in the football game for us, for certain. And, frankly, I was running out there. He was the first guy I saw, so that's probably why he got the hug. But
Wrap us up, Seth.
Coach, great victory today. You often talk about winning the turnover battle, and today they had 6 turnovers. Also, Army stopped them on 4th down a couple of times. More importantly, as importantly, Army had no turnovers. Can you talk about that a little bit?
the turnovers were the difference in the game for sure. The stops on 4th down. We got stopped on 4th down there in the 4th quarter. I thought we put it away after that pass to T-Rob, and it was 4th and 1. And we'd been running that play all day long, gaining a yard. They just give them credit. They kind of beat us across our face on the backside and kind of put up a stone wall right there in front of us. But you know, our guys have had their share of troubles with turnovers, and you guys have followed us. Seth, you followed us. All you guys have followed us. We've turned the ball over way too much, and it's cost us. It's cost us football games, and that's disappointing. That's something that we have tried over the years to pride ourselves on, is to be a team that doesn't turn the ball over, and we turn the ball over way too much. But isn't it ironic that the 2 best games we played this year, we haven't turned the ball over? UTSA and the Air Force game today. When you don't turn the ball over, you give yourself as a football team a great chance to win.
My final question is, the punting was pretty good today. Can you talk about that?
I think Cooper did a nice job. He had one that was a little bit of a wobbler. We did a decent job of running it down, but I thought he did a good job punting the football. I thought he did a great job punting the football. Cole Talley, that guy, it doesn't matter if it's with the wind or against the wind, that guy just keeps kicking that kickoff. I mean, those kickoffs were going, one of them went through the uprights, right? He's kicking them into the signs. He just got a really strong leg. But Quinn Moretsky and just how solid is that guy to step up and make those kicks? Those were huge. Those were in my mind just a big difference in the game to hit those 3 field goals and to be up 23 at halftime. You know, those were big kicks. So all those guys are doing a good job, and I'm proud of Cooper, because Cooper's had some struggles this year punting the ball. And as you guys know, we've talked about that in previous weeks, but he did a nice job today.
Thanks, everyone.